All right, so you have a little bit of a review to get you ready for your test next class period. I'm going to do a few of these with you, and the ones that I don't do will be your responsibility to finish. So we're starting out just solving some equations. I'm going to leave number 1 for you, but let's look at number 2. If I can get it. Number 2 right here, I want to get p by itself. So first I have to start by combining like terms. I have p plus 2p. These are on the same side of the equation, so I just add them together. P plus 2p is 3p. Remember, you only do the opposite to go over the equal sign. Then to get rid of this minus 3, I would add 3. So I get 3p equals 9. These two are touching my multiplication, so I need to divide. So I get p equals 3 for an answer. All right. And I will also look at number 3 with you. I have lots of parentheses going on here, so the first thing I'm going to do is distribute. So 2 times 3 is 6. So 2 times 3g is 6g. 2 times 2 is 4. Remember, distributing is just multiplying. You take whatever's here times whatever's inside. So 1/2 times 12g is 6g. And 1/2 times 8 is 4. I have 6g, and I want to move it. I need to get my g's on the same side. So I'm going to subtract, get my variables on the same side. Only a weird thing happens. They cancel on both sides, and I'm left with 4 equals 4. Remember, sometimes we end up with the special circumstances, which, if it's true, is all real numbers, like 4 equals 4. Or if I ended up with like 2 equals 4, something that's not true, I would say no solution. All right, and you have, I guess I'll go ahead and do number 4 with you. 5 I'll leave you to do on your own. 4, you're going to start by distributing. So 2 times 4g is 8g. 4 times, I actually can't read that. 4 times negative 3 is negative 6. Or it's 2 times negative 3, sorry, it's negative 6. Bring down my 14, and my equals 40. Here I have like terms, 14 minus 6. So 14 minus 6, give me 8. Next thing I would do to get that g by itself is subtract 8 from both sides, which would give me 8g equals 32. And then these two things are touching my multiplication. Remember, anytime you have multiplication, to get the variable by itself, all you need to do is divide. So we're going to take 32 divided by 8 to get g equals 4. All right, there are 2 more there for you to do. Make sure you write your steps for number 5. Let's look at number 6, and I'll leave 7 for you. 6, I want to get y by itself. To get y by itself, I have to move the x. So we're being asked to solve for y. So I'm going to subtract 19x. Do not combine these. These are not like terms. This one has an x and this one does not. They are not friends. Don't put them together. So I have negative 3y equals 12 minus 19x. Then all I have to do is divide everything by negative 3. If it divides nicely, go ahead and divide it out. So for instance, 12 divides nicely by negative 3, that's negative 4. And then a negative divided by negative is a positive, and I'll just leave that 19 over 3x. Okay, number 7 is for you to try. Let's look at, oh, I can't count. I left out 8. That's okay. Let's look at number 9. Number 9, it says the perimeter of the triangle is 82, solve for x. Remember that when we're finding perimeter, we're adding up all the sides. So adding up all the sides here would look like x plus 5 plus x plus 7. And we know the total perimeter is 84. I'm going to combine like terms. I have x plus x is 3x. 5 plus 7 is 12. Okay, now we have something much more manageable to solve. Remember that you deal with the multiplication and division last. You take care of the addition and subtraction first. So we subtract that 12, and that gives me 3x equals 72. And if I divide both sides by 3, I get x equals 24. We also haven't done one of these in a while, so we need to take a look at it. It says that the sum, so that means when I add 3 consecutive, we want to get rid of even. Let's just say 3 consecutive integers, is negative 18. What are the integers? So if I added, I don't know what my first integer is, I'll call it n. If they're consecutive, the next one should be 1 more than that, and 1 more than that. Okay. So for instance, consecutive numbers would be like 10, 11, 12. Because I'd have 10, and then 10 plus 1 would be 11, and then 10 plus 2 would be 12. However, I want it to equal negative 18 now, so I need to set it up. If I add them together, it equals negative 18. Add all my n's, I get 3n. Combining like terms here, I get 3 equals negative 18. So I'm going to take over here, I want to get n by itself, so I have to move this first. Negative 18 minus 3. So subtracting 3 on both sides, I get 3n equals negative 21. To get n by itself now, I divide by 3. And I get n equals negative 7. Remember that then you have to consider n plus 1. So that would be 1 more than that, so negative 7. 1 more than that would be negative 6. 1 more than that would be negative 5. Those are my 3 answers. And that one's done. Let's take a look at some more. So looking at this next, we're looking at inequalities. These ones up here are all fairly simple. I think I'll leave those for you, and maybe we'll do 13 and 16 together. So look at 13. To get x by itself here, I have divided by negative 2, so I need to multiply by negative 2. Remember, when you multiply or divide both sides by a negative, you need to turn your inequality sign, flip your sign. A negative times a negative is a positive. And that's not on my number line, so I'm going to extend my number line. To 8, we need an open circle. And it is x is greater than, so greater than goes to the right. Remember, if you have either one of these, it's an open circle because it doesn't include the point, but if you have the or equal to part, it includes the point, so we're going to put a closed circle. So if you need to make that note, make it out to the side. All right, number 16, we have some distribution again, so we're going to distribute negative 3. We have negative 3 times 2n is negative 6n. Negative 3 times negative 1 is positive 3. Is greater than or equal to 1 minus 8n. From there, I have n's on both sides. I'm going to add 8n over, which would give me 2n plus 3 is greater than or equal to 1. I'm going to subtract the 3, which gives me 2n is greater than or equal to negative 2, and divide by 2, which gives me n is greater than or equal to negative 1. So I'm going to find -1 here. It's right here. I have the or equal to part, so it's a solid dot, and it's greater than, so I'm going to go to the right. All right. We're going to look at just a couple more, so I left a few for you to do here. Those should go fast. Okay, number 17. You can order discount movie tickets from a website for $7 each. You must also pay a $4 shipping fee. So you're paying this each for each ticket, and then you're paying one $4 fee. You want to spend no more than $40. No more than means that I want to spend less than or equal to $40 on movie tickets. Write and solve an inequality to find the possible number of movie tickets you can order. So you're paying $7 each, $7 for each ticket, plus a one-time $4 fee, and that needs to be less than or equal to 40. So that's how you set it up, and you need to solve from there. And you've done lots of practice solving, so I'm going to leave this for you to finish. Let's look at the next page, or, well, the end of the page for you. It has these problems right here. I want to look at number 19. So here, remember, whatever you do in the middle, you have to do on both sides. I have a +8, so I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides, which would give me -11 is less than -3x, which is less than 3. Okay, and then I'm going to divide by -3. Be very careful here. When you divide by a negative, even on these, you have to flip your sign. So I have 11/3 is greater than x is greater than -1. And you can change 11/3 to a decimal. That is just 3.6 repeating. These are both open circles because I don't have the or equal to part. So I'm going to put an open circle at 3.6 and an open circle at -1. And x is in the middle. It's greater than -1 and less than 3.6. So my shading is going to go in the middle. Okay, 18 is very similar. You can do that one. And then remember when you get down here to these ors, you're just working out one, graphing it, working out the other. They should have tails. They should go away from each other. Okay, and let's see how. I'll leave those two for you. And let's look at 22 together. 22, remember, first of all, if this number over here is negative, remember it's no solution and you're done. Oh, oops, and I want to change this to an equal sign. Change this to an equal sign. Let's not make this any more complicated than we have to. Okay, so I'll do this one though. Let's split it into our two cases. Remember, you're going to have, as long as this number is positive, you can work it out. And you're going to say what was in here. 8w plus 5 could have been positive 21. Or 8w plus 5 could have been negative 21. Here I would subtract 5 from both sides, which would give me 8w equals 16. And then from there I would divide by 8, which would give me w equals 2 as one answer. Remember that you're going to have two answers, so we have to come over here and subtract 5. So it gives me -26 equals 8w. These are touching my multiplication, so once again, to get rid of that multiplication, I have to divide. If I divide by 8, I get w equals -3.25. Or you could leave it as a fraction, that's fine too. All right, so you have some problems to finish up to help you review. And I have just a second left, so I will actually go up and look at 21. So looking at 21, just make sure that you work these out separately. So here, To get t by itself, I need to subtract 12 from both sides. So it gives me negative 4. T is greater than or equal to negative 2. Now to get it by itself, I have to divide by negative 4, which gives me that t is less than or equal to negative 2 divided by negative 4 is just 1/2, or 0.5. Then for the second side over here, I would start by adding 14, which would give me 5t is greater than 10. Divide by 5, and you get t is greater than 2. So I have t is greater than 2. I can put a open circle at 2 and say it's greater than that. Or the other equation was that it was less than or equal to 0.5. So 0.5 would be about right here. Less than or equal to would go this way. All right, and the rest is up to you. Please email me if you need any help.